Hey everybody, welcome to Vaultside episode 4. I am Reno Kutsia, Chair for Citizens for Sound Money. Before we get started, we would like to remember our founder, Jim Forsythe, who passed away 3 months ago. Jim cast the vision for C4SM 3 years ago. We miss him on every level of our organization, as a friend, as a leader, and a visionary. We're committed to complete the Sound Money mission he started. C4SM is a 501c4 nonprofit, and we exist to encourage the use of sound money and protect people's rights to do so. We do that through strategies that include legislation, education, and consultation for individuals and organizations. The intent of Vaultside is to create an interview-style update of Kinesis with their team. Questions for Vaultside came from the Kinesis forum, as well as were curated by a team of users and C4SM members that are in charge of creating today's episode. With us today is Daniel Diaz, our Executive Director, and then also Yuchiki, who represents the forum users and is instrumental in its operation. With that said, Tom and team, welcome to Vaultside. Tell us who's on the call today, and as a first question, perhaps share a bit about any new additions to the team.
Yeah, thanks for that, Reno. Good to be back. Sadly, without Jim today. That's a tragic loss. I considered Jim to be a founding father of the Sound Money movement. And it doesn't feel quite the same doing this without him. Obviously, the first 3 were with him spearheading the way. But I have, full faith, trust, and confidence in you and Daniel and the team. So firstly, yes, we have had a new member join our executive committee, Nathan Fisher, coming in as Chief Information Officer. He's unable to also join the call at the moment. Maybe he can join tomorrow just to say hello, but it'd just be to sort of introduce himself at this time. He's currently got babysitting duties at the moment, so he's unable to join. And just regarding the growth of the team, we've spun up a couple of new departments that actually fall within Jai's portfolio within the organization. We've got Telesales, which that's a team that's actually covering basically leads that come through from either, partial signups, that people who haven't completed signups. We've got this huge database of them, and no one was actually even contacting them, right? Like to help step them through. And actually, the initial stages of that team has been really, really successful in just actually, it's people have welcomed the phone call to actually just help them step them through the application process, and also, from there they go on to sort of, other information that may be captured on websites or landing pages and that sort of thing as well. So that's a team that we've built out. The partnership team as well, as you would have seen our partner program go into beta.
So we're going to go and get into like the those things a little bit, so we can move on just from the staffing part of it to those other things, because they're in the tieback section, which these are things we mentioned last time, so we'll tie back to all of them.
Yeah, and regarding new offices, new teams around the world, obviously it's important to us to actually be building out Kinesis as a global enterprise. With that, we are building out our footprint in different regions around the world, different continents. We have our Latin American team that's building out via a couple of offices throughout Latin America. One is Uruguay. We've got an office in the free trade zone there. Obviously, we're building out through Africa and now Asia as well. I can say that we're doing work in Cambodia. There's something that's happening that's not a small thing in Cambodia, so that is on the map. as well. Of course, we've got our Indonesian project that keeps on expanding as we roll out there, and the surrounding region there, like there's a spillover effect from Indonesia into other surrounding countries there, and obviously, the Western countries remain very important to us, and we continue to grow. We continue to grow. It's and that will expand as we cycle into the next stage in our development, call it the commercialization stage. Then there'll be new teams come online and that sort of thing to support that new development there and that level of commercialization.
All right. Well, Tom, thank you for that. Can you maybe just give us an overall opinion on how you feel like things are going? Overall, it's been a while since we all met. And just give us your general view of how things are going for Kinesis.
Yes, certainly. Thank you, Reno. So, let me just sort of, start. And before I get into things, just make a quick note just around disclosure of information. Now, of course, we want to give the community who are our stakeholders as an organization as much information as what we can. Like that's, of course, we want you guys to be informed, but we are in this constant balancing act towards our fiduciary duties as company officers and directors. Right now, why is that relevant? It's relevant because if we were to go and furnish all this information, then one, it could be in conflict, like with, say, for example, legal contracts that we have, non-disclosure agreements, or just, outright legal agreements that may compromise those agreements in certain ways. In addition to that, it opens up vectors of attack out there, vectors of attack on basically a ground level basis by detractors in the industry who may not want us to succeed for various different reasons. To be honest, we're not so concerned about them in any way because we go well beyond the precious metals industry, which is a bit of a funny little combative industry, which we love very much, right? But it's quite a small industry. The intention of Kinesis was always to go well beyond the industry. Actually, hence the reason why, if you remember back in 2019, we went from our sort of gold branding to being more modern sort of banking and payments type branding with the coral colored K and that sort of thing. That was very intentional to actually position us into basically the next generation, like banking payment services space. And that's really where we're going. So it's definitely a transcendence well above just the precious metals community. We love the community. It's got all different kinds of, segments from, you don't own it if you don't hold it kind of, faction, which that's great. Those guys are not really for Kinesis. You can buy bars through us, but we don't store our metal in the backyard. It's locked up in fully insured vaults. So and audited, right? So that's that community. But for Kinesis to be truly successful, we need to go to the mass market. So that's really where we're going. And if we just on the information disclosure side, if we flag post what we're actually doing, then it might be incumbents in certain industries, certain markets. They may seek to block us. Now, we've gone through quite a treacherous sort of period of time from an environmental standpoint. The environment changed quite dramatically going back about 2 years ago now. And it's taken very careful stewardship to navigate these treacherous waters. Like it hasn't been easy. I mean, you guys have been on the receiving end as far as delays with different projects. That's not something intentional, right? Like it comes at great frustration to us. There's been reliance on third-party solution providers. And because of actually all of that, because of these delays, there is like a little bit of consolation in them, because where we saw ourselves before as being a solution provider to even incumbent players, including the banks and other financial institutions. And the idea was to plug into all of them and provide a solution, right? To basically to sit above the established industry, to be a solution provider to them. Now, things changed about 2 years ago, because the institutional industry that we wish to provide services to and solutions to, they considered to be like the toxic and the blockchain and cryptocurrency space to be something toxic. So, we operate a digital asset exchange that's considered something high risk to the banking and payments industry, and it became just difficult, right? So anyway, what has happened from there? So where we were, being turned off, or just, it being made very difficult to actually even exist in the banking space, we've had to vertically integrate. And that vertical integration comes as a strength to us as an organization, because we take control of our own destiny. Our destiny's in our own hands. It's brought together different partners on our side to work on something that, from a consolidated perspective, is actually extremely powerful. You guys are going to start to really see that come online in Q3. We can talk further about that, but there's basically going to be dominoes falling in Q3, which starts to unveil things and showcase what we've been working so hard on for the last sort of 18 months, 2 years. And these are things that we can't just unveil and go, okay, everyone, this is what we've been working on, because it's a real high stakes game that we're playing. Like, this is when we're not referring to, millions of dollars in profits. It's not even, like single digit billions of dollars. It's high stakes game that we're playing here, and we're positioning ourselves to be leaders in different spaces. Now, I think that there's going to be a few aha moments as the dominoes start to fall, as one after the next, and even as the first one gets unveiled, it's like, okay, I see, mate, I'm starting to join some dots here where these guys could be going. There'll be new products, a range of new products, and new services and new solutions, which open up new industries and it transforms Kinesis to be a solution provider to the mass market, not just the precious metals community, which is actually incredibly small, right? It's a community, and it's actually quite a difficult community as well, particularly in implementing digital solutions. We see ourselves as transcending above, the dualistic nature of just sitting within one industry where you have protective, established incumbent players protecting their turf. We don't need to fight with combative, established players in anyone's turf. We transcend above to provide a solution to all. The idea is to make it a win-win-win for everyone, right? Like that's really where we see ourselves. That's our playing field. We don't have a battleground. We transcend above to provide a new solution to planet Earth that everyone can value from. And this goes to all levels of society, government, institutional, down to, the retail public. So, I'm talking at a high level. I want people to understand our fiduciary duty in being good stewards and prudent executives as far as the information flow that we can give to the community. We might need to be cryptic. We might need to withhold names. Please be understanding towards that. These necessities are for your benefit overall, because one, we have our responsibilities as company officers, but two, it's just we're looking after your interests as stakeholders, and our duties far surpass anyone's sort of ongoing desire for more information. So we'll give you what we can. We come here with open hearts and try to be as open as we can towards everything. But I will reaffirm it's an incredibly high stakes game that we're playing, and it's like 5-dimensional chess. It's not like we're just sort of, going, flying in the wind, and, we might encounter like some kind of obstruction with what we're doing along the way, and we have to circumnavigate that obstruction. And I look back now at our journey to get us to this very moment now, and actually, I'm grateful for this moment now, because where we've actually received those obstructions, they've actually become opportunities. So yes, we haven't been able to deliver certain things as fast as we wanted, right? We've been ready to go from a tech perspective on our Europe physical debit card program for well over 12 months, but we've been held up. And we can get into that further. But, we've encountered, violent opposition out of the banking space due to the changing landscape there. But that has actually brought opportunities to us out of necessity. And because we've gone in with basically, our open hearts and our, higher level vision and mission, then it's become an attractive field to also find like-minded partners who are hell-bent on also implementing these solutions to humanity. So I am actually grateful for this moment in time to where we are. I do understand, and I'm empathetic towards the wait, but I'm also incredibly excited about the future. My excitement for the future surpasses everything else, because I'm just looking forward to delivering to everyone, to be honest. So anyway, I'll move on, because it's getting into a little bit of a monologue, but thank you. And just, regarding the information flow, we're going to have David Charles, our General Counsel, on as well. He can go into some of this. He's been a big part of implementing corporate governance structures within, large global organizations. He came into Tyco back in the day, just after their accounting scandal, and played a pivotal role in actually implementing new corporate governance structures and to clean up that organization and their reputation at the time. So that is in play within like Kinesis right now. I want everyone to understand that. And because with the changing landscape brought necessity for us to operate more like a public company. But we have one advantage over a public company, is we're not actually focused on the next quarterly result. We can actually apply like a longer term horizon, which of course everyone's sort of frustrated because our stakeholders are focused on the next quarterly report. And I get it with other frustrations with regards to, the tradeability of KVTs and stuff like that, which we'll also be covering. There's some very good news there.
Okay. All right. So next question, Tom, is about the physical mint. Just maybe update us on how production sales are going, and how you feel like there was a question about fee contribution to the pool. Where do you guys see that going? If not, can you let the community know?
Yeah, so we've had a good look at this, Reno, and it's really, really hard to do it on like basically a production basis from the mint. There's all different products have, different margins, and sometimes we're actually, even producing at a loss. And, the way that Turkey's operating at the moment, they're under capital controls and stuff like that. There's a different price in Turkey as there is in the rest of the world. And there's quotas on gold coming into the country and stuff like that. like I'm just sort of throwing these things out there to just sort of illustrate, and you might have the same metal that goes through, different cycles within within the plant. So and just the reporting is conducted in a way which is not conducive towards basically, monthly injections into the fee pool. So, but we've been looking at different models in how to give back. I do want to reaffirm something, right? Like, the mint was not acquired from KVT holders capital. I just built out. Like, I just want everyone to know that. It was not. But notwithstanding that, we want everyone to be part of the success story of all the different components of our business. Now, because of that, we will come up with some kind of model where actually maybe I'll put it out to the community as well. Like we're tossing around, we've discussed actually a few different ways that we can give back and sort of align success there around the mint, or give back in different ways to represent what's going on there in the mint. But I do want people to understand the very importance of the mint, right? It represents vertical integration. Now, I do have to say now, like further to like my opening sort of little chat there, we've seen where vertical integration is important. We've seen now that vertical integration in the banking industry would be quite interesting, wouldn't it? Because before we did see ourselves as a solution even to the banks, to plug into the banks, because that's what we're doing in Indonesia. We're integrating with 5 banks in Indonesia now. We're integrating with other banks, with other public-private partnerships that we're doing in other parts of the world. Now, in Indonesia, if we were also a bank, it would be conflicting and competitive with the other banks. So that's the where we are, but the landscape changed whereby the vertical integration is important in the banking space. Now, the landscape in the precious metal space was always combative. I think our community should have a pretty good handle on that now. So we always saw vertical integration as being important. We've had our supply chain attacked before, in days before Kinesis, right? We've seen how it's, like I look back and I think like there should have been, big sort of regulatory investigations into my TV's talking to me, anti-competitive behavior that different players have conducted, like within the industry, where that's the reason why we vertically integrated. In addition to that, to secure the supply, we see a really strong marriage between the physical and digital. At the end of the day, we are not just, a digital company that has, non-intrinsic like digital assets that are flying around basically the hyperverse. We are backing everything with something physical, and the physical side of our business is incredibly important. And there is trust, confidence, and comfort that is generated through us actually having marrying together the physical operations, and having pools of physical capital around the world ready to deliver and producing it. It's a big part of what we're doing. And I will add that now, because of the landscape change in the banking and payments industry, we have seen the necessity to vertically integrate there as well. So that's join the dots. That's where we also have some pretty major news coming. Can't give, specific details on that, but we do have some very big news coming in that space that will likely start to roll out like Q3.
Tom, thank you for that. How about an update on Indonesia, Eric? Maybe adoption since the last time we've talked, accounts, transactions, new programs. We saw maybe a soft launch for NU. Just kind of tell us where things are and where you think they're going.
Yeah, thanks, Reno, very much. So, yeah, Indonesia, look, it's been a long process, as we know. It continues to gradually grow. There's been some issues that needed to be ironed out. So as an update on as far as volumes and things like that. So there's between POS-Pay Gold and JFX GoldX, there's been over 7,000 accounts signed up, and over 600,000 trades to date between the two. So it's a lot of trades, and it's not an insignificant amount of accounts, but they've all been very small trades. So the actual dollar volume is not so big yet, and this is a reflection of testing out the system, doing little, people testing out the any programs they have for trading and looking for directional avenues to support their positions, but in a very small way. That will grow. There's a couple challenges that have come up through this. JFX, for example, look, they're the national exchange, and they have I don't know how many, maybe 40 member firms. And whenever they institute a new type of product, not just a new listing, but a new type of product, which this certainly fits that mold as a spot digital physical gold trading, they use their typical model, which is to impose a fee on any member that wants to now add that product suite to their portfolio, and they charge a fee for entry. That has resulted in only 3 of their members joining thus far, and so that's been a bottleneck. So recently, over the last month or so, I think in May, they've dropped that, and they've now waiving that fee and doing a rejiggering of their marketing to their members on that basis, and they've already seen 3 more that are onboarding as we speak. Onboarding is not just adding this new product, right? Because it's digital physical, there's a different element of how they integrate into this product as a member firm, and so the onboarding process is not just signing documents. There's some back office and tech work that needs to be done from the member standpoint. But anyway, that's good news, is that the membership will grow. And as the membership grows, obviously their customer base is now has the ability to utilize. So you'll see the accounts grow, and you'll see the size of trades grow. The JFX GoldX trading, because it's a little more institutional, those trades that I mentioned that come through them, it's quite a bit higher than what it's been from POS-Pay Gold this far. POS-Pay Gold and POS-Pay in general, look, Indonesia just went through their national elections. They have a new president. They have a new cabinet. The head of PT-POS is a state-owned entity, of course, and with any transitional government, it's likely that the head of PT-POS will be transitioned out. He's been a lame duck now for close to a year, given they're coming up to elections and then through the election process. So there's been a lame duck type of session where didn't want to go too deeply into full blown demanding that employees take on this product, etc. But and there's other elements to that where there's actually some legal ramifications of the state entity requiring their employees to adopt the particular product. But certainly they can make the case that they should. And Indonesians generally are a collective bunch and population, so that if they feel that it's in the collective good, which the CEO of PT-POS can certainly make that case, we expect that to happen, and there'll be quite a bit more account signups, and as those account signups grow, the amount of trades and the size of each trade will grow as well. They have a continual market. They have a marketing plan in play that's already. It's a 12-month marketing budget that they've put in, so that's ongoing. There's a lot of education going from the typical physical trade that they're used to in the precious metal space to a digital one. But those efforts are happening, and we can, it's not insignificant that there's over 7,000 accounts and 600,000 trades over the last 8-9 months. Just as forward looking, rather, I know it's coming up later in this session, but might as well cover it now. So NU, the 100 million member plus religious social organization, Muslim organization, they did a soft launch in May. We'll be monitoring that progress over the next couple months. They have their grand launch in September now, and so we're looking for big things for them. Of course, the banks that Tom mentioned that have been integrated thus far are an integral part to this. Everybody who signs up gets a bank account. There's a lot of people, as you know, we've done the statistics before, that are underbanked or unbanked in Indonesia. So this automatically gets them into that sphere of financial abilities. So that combined with the advent of gold to Mecca, which will be a very important part for this NU organization. We have high expectations. It still will be a ramp up, but things have been learned by the Indonesian teams through the process of POS-Pay Gold and JFX Goldex that are being incorporated into NU, such that it should be a smoother and a faster ramp up.
All right. Thanks for that, Eric.
Sorry, guys. I was just going to say, I think that because poor Andy, it's getting late over there. It's after 11 p.m. UK time, and I know that he's an early riser. So how about like we throw just Andy in the limelight just for a second, and then he can drop off and go to bed. Like just to get him to sort of, I guess, comment the way he sees sort of things happening from a high level perspective as a director, and also where things are going with live from the vault, etc.
So what I would say is that, I mean, from a very high level, and obviously I'm privileged to see all the pieces of the jigsaw as they're coming together, and clearly this has been a journey which, to me, is so exciting. I cannot actually believe, guys, how you talk about the dominoes starting to fall. This is so exciting, and I swear that, and this is something which I don't have to do this. I love this. This is not just providing a social side. We are providing we're sitting on the same side of the table. This is novel, on the same side of the table as every single person out there, whether you be a business, whether you be a fund, whether you be an individual, whether you're a bullion dealer, we're sitting on the same side of the table as you. And I think this is why this is so, the actual sort of, you think it's like a snowball, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And as people realize that we are there to actually, as you are, you're all stakeholders here. We're all stakeholders. And this is, I think, bottom line, this is the year where we will be looking in the rearview mirror and we will say, my God, I couldn't believe, I'm glad I stuck with this, because all those pieces that we can't obviously talk about all these pieces right now, because Tom's explained why. It's simply not prudent to do so. As we have a fiduciary duty to actually, to actually keep this ball rolling and to make sure it rolls out perfectly. And I have total confidence in Tom, with Eric, with the team, with Jai. I mean, this is an exceptional team. And this is what it is. It's all about teamwork. And I cannot believe the excellence. And I mean, Tom, I don't even think you need to be around a lot of the time, because everyone is so competent and so capable. And yes, we need you on top to come and, bring all these pieces together. And Tom, I'll never forget where this, and we won't talk about the past for more than a few seconds, but I remember all the way back in Switzerland, where you put together the white paper, and it was a work of genius. And I'm not blowing smoke here. It was a work of genius. And when people heard it, when you made that initial presentation to the world, and they've never seen anything about this, they all raced over you. They literally pinned you to the wall. And really, it's just been a question of, how do we roll this out? There have been some bad actors come along. There's been people trying to take us over. But it hasn't happened because we are a great team. And thank you, Tom, for everything you've done. Thank you for Danielle and Rob and all these, basically thank you for all the support that all of you have shown. And obviously, Jim Forsythe, you've mentioned him just now, and what a good soul he was and is and lives on. And I think this is the point. He lives on, and we have a fiduciary duty to make this to bring this all to a head. So I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to need some oxygen after this, because I don't sleep because it's just too exciting. So, but I'll leave it at that, guys. And thank you. Privilege for me to even be a part of this team. But thank you for all you guys do.
Thanks, Andy. And I'm just going to quickly interject there as well. And Andy did touch on something that the community are not aware of. And we've battled through the trenches together, and a tremendous amount of respect and loyalty and camaraderie has been formed through these battles. Now, going back to the early days, like what Andy was saying in St. Moritz, the vultures were circling, and we have had people try that. There's been power battles and power plays that have come Kinesis's way over the years from the very early days. Power plays. And, we had to bond together. We had to really trust in each other, because, there was big money trying to get in and muscle their way in. And we bonded together. We went through that together from the early days. We still, go through little attacks here and there, which don't really bother us. They're sort of amusing, because we're quite battle hardened these days. We understand where we need to be as well. But it's been a hell of a journey, and I wouldn't change it, actually. I know that there's some suffering out there in the community with the delays and certain time horizons provided on investments and stuff like that. And we haven't done everything perfect along the way, but that's been part of our journey. Of course, there's regrets, I could have done that better. But it also, if we changed anything, then we wouldn't be here now. And I look at where we are now, and I'm just phenomenally excited. The reason being is we are stepping into a sphere that's well beyond just the precious metals community. And as I said, it's not like this is something new. It was always the intention to go well beyond the precious metals community. It's just we've been obstructed along the way. And it's largely coming out of the banking and financial space where we've been obstructed. But now, as we move forward with some really great partnerships, and they're close, intimate partnerships that have taken a very long time to put together, and something that I said that we can't flag post, but, they're in the banking space, they're in the asset management space, these kind of spaces, right, where it allows us to vertically integrate and actually take that next step, and then actually be leaders in certain fields and introduce, real world assets, stable coins, banking payment services, like next generation services. And this is not just like, going out to the retail or corporate community. This is also going at the government level and working with different governments and to provide these solutions where we can make it a win for everyone. So it's been worth the battle. What do you think, Andy? And we've had certainly a hell of a journey from ABX days to now, and then the whole, like I revisited the concept of evolution, and I don't believe evolution is the correct word. It's really transcendence as we transcend to the next level. And that's the transcendence will continue. So, Kinesis to a certain extent was transcendence for ABX. And now we're transcending Kinesis to the level where it really needs to be. So, yeah, anyway, that's just me.
Thank you for the journey, guys. And that's what I will say before I head off.
All right. Well, thanks for that, guys. Thanks, Andy. Thanks for coming on. Tom, that was great. So let me ask a question about ramps and cards and things of that nature. I'll make a statement first. So on our previous chat, we had talked about USDC on Stellar. That's obviously happened. Apple Pay's come through. A lot of us have been part of the debit card purchasing program beta, and I was curious if you can comment on when that will go system-wide for all users to be able to do that, because it's been a phenomenal, easy, instant on-ramp.
Yes, I can comment there. So that is ready to go. It's we'll just be sequencing everything up and getting all the comms ready for that. So that actually should be coming this month. Now it's a little bit disappointing as far as we've monitored basically the success rates, and the success rates are not fantastic. This has to do with basically the banks in different parts of the world and flagging the transactions as being digital asset related. So we're going to have disclosures everywhere as far as the success rate. Don't be tremendously disappointed if, for example, a transaction's not successful. It's a circumstance of the industry at the moment, which is unavoidable. Now, we consider the industry to be like the internet, and you can't put it back in the box and store it on the shelf somewhere. It's out in the open. It's blockchain and what it's doing. It's transforming the world of payments and the world of monetization, where we can actually monetize anything of value via blockchain, cryptocurrency technology. And so it's out, and the ones who survive and persevere will become the titans of the industry. And we're positioning ourselves to be leaders in certain spaces within the industry. So yeah, that's coming. That's fantastic. Now, obviously, we've had a new USD bank account go live. Now that is a highly resilient account that actually falls within a regulated structure. Kinesis is regulated currently out of Cayman and Lithuania, and we have more regulatory licenses coming online in Western countries that we'll be excited to roll out as well. Don't want to flag too much there, but there's a highly robust corporate governance structure being implemented at this very point in time. So we'll have new on-ramps like that are coming online in the not too distant future at all for British pound, euro, Canadian dollar, and Swiss franc as well. They'll come on at different times, but they're coming. And then as we sort of move into a more advanced stage in a certain partnership that we have, there'll be like bank accounts available for users within the system. In the US, so USD bank accounts available for US users. We have the IBANs in Europe now. There's a lot of people using them. There's actually, the European rail system is flowing through nicely, and actually that's going to be aligning with a major commercialization campaign that we have coming in Q3, which, we want to leave some things for surprise and just, for a level of excitement within the community. But there's been a lot of filming being conducted recently and that sort of thing. Europe's going to play a big role, obviously, US and our other sort of major regions as well. But Europe's going to be coming into the picture in a bigger way.
So previously on Vaultside, you had mentioned the Kinesis AURUM being developed. Can you give us an update on that and a potential time frame and how you see it interplaying again with the other elements of Kinesis?
Yeah, so we're really close with the Kinesis AURUM. It's not just a simple process of even just designing, some designs and slapping them on, basically a piece of paper. This is going through a really high-tech process of firstly, intricate design, which we recruited a specialist artist. Took some time. Like, we went through, there was one artist that we brought in, and we didn't think that was up to scratch. And so we actually reverted internally to our team to give up some, provide some mock-up examples, which we have an incredible creative team that falls under Jai in the UK. Constantly amazed with the talent there. The guys are incredible. And we got some, good mock-ups there. And then we actually, brought in an artist to actually, basically do stroke by stroke. And you'll see the level of detail that's gone into these bills. They're beautiful, right? So they're pieces of art in the first instance. And then it goes into basically the process of this highly unique process of printing them on these gold bills, which the gold bills are 24 karat gold or 99.99% gold, which is layered atom by atom over a polymer film, around a polymer film. It's a patented unique process that's conducted by Valorum. We love the partnership because it extends the whole circuitry of our monetary system from just, the digital space to the physical space. Now, obviously, we've got physical bars and coins, but, not that many people are walking around with silver and gold coins in their pocket and, able to, use them with merchants and that sort of thing. There's already been precedent set as far as these gold bills are concerned in the United States via Goldback, which they've got a couple of thousand merchants already accepting these things as a form of money. So it really slots into the whole sound money movement, which we're really strong advocates of, and what you guys are doing as Citizens for Sound Money. So I think it slots in perfectly. It's an extension of our ecosystem from the digital, next generation digital and payment space to then the physical space and peer-to-peer transfers that, there's privacy considerations and things like that come from actually being able to exchange money in person. So, yes, the world is moving towards digital, but also there will always be the need for physical. It doesn't matter what, there'll always be the need for physical. And as there's more of a push towards digital, then there'll also be more of a push towards physical. There's always the counterbalance. This is the balance within our dualistic reality. So the physical side is incredibly important. These are, incredible forms of money, and they'll be utilized as money within our system. They're not just a collectible. There'll be money and there'll be convertibility with KAU within the system. So there's convertibility there. Now, as you guys know as well, they can also be used in ATMs. So, these next generation smart ATMs basically operate as mini bank branches. So that's something really, really cool that we're looking closely at and structuring something together there because, they take deposits, they also dispense, and that's for the gold bills, that's for physical cash and debit cards and also other different things, which I'm not at liberty to say. But, you can start to think vertical integration there to a certain extent with the ATMs through them actually acting as mini bank branches, and we can strategically locate them in different parts of the world to face different demographics. And it might be high traffic regions, it might be a certain demographic that we wish to attract in this kind of thing. So there's I think a triage of partners at play there that one adds value to the other, but to come together as a sort of a collective that is highly valuable. So yeah, it's an important partnership with Valorem.
Yeah, incredibly exciting concept of all of them working together. We're now going to roll into another set of questions. The first one has to do with KVT. What can you tell us about the design of the KVT, where you think things are headed, and as far as the tradability of KVT, which is an important question the community is asking?
Yes. So, there's been a lot of work with regards to the KVT. There's, we've spoken about a new KVT and stuff like that. There's been a lot of work actually done on that, and actually we're supremely confident that the KVT will be tradable in Q3. In fact, I can say that it will be tradable in Q3. So that's what we've lined up there in looking at our strategic planning and sequence of launches, and both on the solution and product side. That's where we're lined up to be.
Okay, thanks. So Q3, that's very exciting.
All right, Tom, I have a question for you. Are there any updates available about Latin America, particularly about the partner that seemed close last year to closing?
Yeah, so that partner that was close to closing, that was a government, and they're still close to closing. We've gone through elections and stuff like that, and it's actually a really exciting partnership. It looks a lot different to, say, Indonesia, where we've been given a date. We've been given dates in the past that didn't come through, but we've been given a specific date. So we're very confident. It's quite soon. It will fall within Q3, and we'll be able to announce that and explain what it all means. But there's been a hell of a lot of hard work that's gone into it, and time. Like Martin Aguilar has spent a lot of time in that country and put together basically a whole sort of team there to be representing our interests and be working that. It's I mean, what can I say? It's a big financial and banking center, a small country, a big financial and banking center. Some people might be able to join the dots a little bit on that. It's not like we can go out and actually publicly say it, but it's a big financial and banking center, and because of that, we get integration through their banking system and their financial system, which is really valuable within the region. So that's an important one. I mean, I was just actually with Martin Aguilar in Atlanta. You guys missed him, but he came in from Antigua, where we were over for the Small Island Development States UN conference and event there. So, which is really, really exciting. What's happening there? I won't go into too much detail right now, but yeah, that's, I went through basically all the partnerships and that he has. Now, there's what can I say? There's a lot, right? And some of them like come online, and we don't announce them. Like they might be in different areas, and some of them like they're just banked up with our development as we still push to get sort of core services on and circumnavigate different things. And in addition to that, go through very large integrations with partners which are yet to be announced or understood. But once they do get announced and understood, then community will understand as well. And also product development, that sort of thing, which ties up our development team. So there's, I think he has like 60 partners or something like that are there. Now we're progressing ahead with a number of them. But we have a real strict set like methodology that we apply, because each partner, if it requires like a technology integration, then that's what we consider to be a heavy lift. And if it takes like development resources on our side, then it's got to be worth it. It's not like it can't be up to chance, right? Like it really has to be worth it. So for us to actually provide resources to a project, that it needs to be worth it. Lots of people can say, oh, yes, lots of organizations can say, oh, we wish to partner, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be commercially worthwhile for us. So, yeah, I mean, and the same applies in Africa, where we've got plenty happening in Africa. You guys are going to see some major players come online out of Africa, and also, and that's from the precious metal space and the banking space and that sort of thing. But it all takes time, unfortunately. There's, like one, for example, out of Africa that we announced a long time ago is Silicon Capital. Now, it's, we want to see them on, but, they continue to, have some internal reshuffles that influence timeframes there and everything like that. But that's a pretty big partnership. That's still coming online. That hasn't gone anywhere. That's there. And, and it's not so easy as you would know to deal with the capital restrictions out of South Africa, Reno, and these kind of things, and the taxation. They've got like the spotlight on the precious metals industry in South Africa at the moment, which because of that, actually, that some partners in South Africa have been a bit gun shy as far as coming out and doing like PR around and stuff like that, because they've got the taxation authority sort of looking at them there. But anyway, I won't hold things up any further. But so that I hope answers it.
It's really good. So there's a lot of activity in Latin America, a lot of activity in Africa. Would you say there are things outside of South Africa happening in Africa that also are having huge potential?
Definitely the case. Yep, we've even gone to we've had to establish entities in different countries to actually be able to face some of these partners. And, these partners have been large enough and significant enough to like go to that full extent of, establishing an entity to actually be able to face that partner in their home jurisdiction. It drives me nuts, every time we set up a new company, because I get caught with all the paperwork, signing all the paperwork and stuff like that, because, I come on as director for all these different companies around the world, and we have to get notarizations done and whatever else. And I've become good friends with my notary. I've got him driving directly here now. He's like a family friend. So yeah, like it's it's busy. Let's put it that way on the partnership side.
Okay, that's good. Yuchiki, you want to ask your question about the universal currencies?
So a little while back in one of the quarterly updates, there were some hints about universal currencies. So are you able to say anything about the developments in that area?
Yes, I can. Look forward to Q3. That's what I'll say. And I can tell you guys right now, we have developed 5 new digital asset tokens that will be released sort of in quite short succession behind each other, one after the other. But there's plans for a whole list of others to come. And what they're really designed to do, and let me just communicate this to the community. We are absolute sound money advocates. Like the whole idea of, like when I first stumbled across the injustices that I perceived in the precious metal space and in the banking space. I'm sorry, in the banking and monetary space, and also the macroeconomic conditions at play, and with regards to basically how we're deficit financing, and basically in lockstep across the world with different nations, and the actual macroeconomic sort of status of where we are right now, and the money printing that's going on, and then the way that the fractional reserve banking system operates. That is what basically compelled me to enter the space. I had a very relaxed lifestyle in the financial space, but I went blinkers on and left that world behind to a large extent. I don't know. It's like that was my calling. That was my purpose. And I went into that space. This is something that is like, it's written in blood. It goes beyond that. It's part of my very fiber, my fabric, my soul to see this sound money movement through. And it's part of my soul mission. Sorry to take it to the spiritual level, but that's the way I perceive things. And so I have to see it through. But also we need to see through the success of Kinesis. And one hindrance to the success of Kinesis is the fact that, and you guys are combating this at the state level in the United States, gold is not legal tender. Right, so you can't just parachute in on legal contracts, employment contracts around the world. So in being successful, in Kinesis being successful, and let's break Kinesis' success down to 3 core things. 1, we need to bring in users. I think everyone agrees to that. 2, we need to on-ramp capital. I think everyone agrees to that. And 3, we actually need to get that capital into motion. Right. So if we look at those 3 things, and this is, at the executive committee level where we drill into and we look at all the different things, that the ingredients or table stakes that we require to be a success, we look at those core things, and, you can get philosophical on different things, but at the end of the day, you do those 3 things well, then you're a success for our ecosystem. We need to capture everyday monetary transactions and everyday capital. So, and the everyday person. So, pushing aside our prejudices that may exist as sound money advocates, we need to actually capture the average person, and then we can educate them on the benefits. Our system does that anyway with regards to, the only 2 currencies that will be in receipt of the yield system, right, is KAU and KAG. That will always exist. But we need to parachute in on legal contracts and employment contracts and agreements all around the world. And to do that, we need to do certain things and launch certain things. And this is what we've been building out with partners. So, I'll just give you a typical example. If for example, I wish to, pay my gardeners, their invoice, or a contractor, their invoice. Now they send me an invoice. It's got their bank account details. I can send, basically the legal tender currency to their contract, and they will account for it within their accounting system. I can say to them, "Oh, can I just send you gold?" And, you can do it that way. It's now, without sort of sitting down and having a meeting with them and explaining how it all works on Kinesis, it's a big leap that they need to face. It's a quantum leap for them to get their head around just the whole accounting side and the tax side, because they are living in the real world where they need to do tax and accounting. So whereas, let's say, for example, if it's still easy to send KAU and KAG. It's like, hey, what's your email address? Boom, send. And they get their equivalent amount. But still to have that conversation around receiving gold or silver is still a big step consciously for them. Whereas if we could bring parties, and that's from, the small contractor level to large businesses, and even governments for that matter, if we can bring them into the Kinesis system via legal tender currency, then but just do it better than anyone else in the market by a quantum mile, then that would really, really assist. That allows us to go out to the mass market and really bring people in, and then we can drip feed on the educational side. We can highlight all the benefits of sound money, and we can showcase what we have. So this, I've let a little bit of the cat out of the bag a bit there as far as, in some things that we're doing, but that gives a little bit of an idea. We've done a tremendous amount of development in the real world asset space. I consider this to be universal currency and sound money as well, a currency that is tied to assets. If assets go up in value, the currency goes up in value. It maintains its purchasing power. Yes, we know that gold maintains its purchasing power over time. It does fluctuate. You can have times where certain assets are going up and gold's not going up. So gold in relative terms is not completely relevant, completely relevant to that asset, another asset price going up, and that'll always happen. There's no absolute perfect currency. For me, gold is the most perfect currency, but we've developed something really innovative to capture asset price movements and to maintain purchasing power within a basket of asset prices. It's highly unique. It's what we'll be introducing is beyond anything else out there in the market, and no one else can do it. And I say that with confidence because different things that we've incorporated, there's patents and exclusivity and things like that in play that no one else can get access to. And so really, really, really excited about that. We have what I termed universal currencies, even in the precious metal space, coming as well, which provides what I consider to be easy externalization. So KAU and KAG, because they're proprietary chains, really, like they're forks of Stellar, but they're proprietary forks of Stellar. Then, yes, we can get other exchanges and other platforms to integrate the wallets and that sort of thing, but it's a heavy lift for them. Whereas, say, if we go with, public blockchains, which are already out there and integrated and embedded within other exchanges or platforms or wallets or whatever it may be, it's just a matter of turning them on. Right? Yeah, they might need to, create some new pairs and that sort of thing, but that's not a difficult thing. So that way we can have externalized currencies, which then sort of contribute towards like easy flow of capital into the system to get it into motion. So it becomes an on-ramp of capital to a certain extent. So anyway, I know that's quite a long answer to your question there, you Chicky, but yeah, that's where I'm going. I'm sort of spilling the beans a little bit in certain areas without giving too much away.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Jason's questions for you. What is the process of to minimize the effects of bugs on the system, and how does updates to the system impact it, and what can the community do to help you guys further in enhancing our feedback?
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Look, great questions. We take, and I know that sometimes you don't think that, we take the bugs and issues that occur in the system just incredibly, almost to heart. We have significant amounts of logging, both at the system level, at the application level, etc. The best way to get issues resolved or to raise bugs is to either firstly go through the forums, see someone else has had the same issue. Secondly, it is to contact our support team, and our support team do have direct connections directly into the tech team. When you raise a case, it's ideal. Sometimes we get a lot of cases that have come through and say, oh, look, I've had X happen. And it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. The best way to do that is if the community can record some screenshots, can kind of document what they were doing at the time, that will go to our support. And the process that our support go through is they then aggregate across our entire support system to say, is it a once-off? Is it cosmetic? Has it happened before? Is there anything else we can do about that? That will then get allocated internally to one of our engineering teams. And the challenge that we have there is because the application's grown significantly over time, one of the things that happens, it could be in multiple parts. And so we then got to identify where is the best part? Is it a known issue? Are we working on it? Can we get a quick resolution there out? But I can assure you we basically run almost like an ITIL model of our 4 levels, ranging through from cosmetic through to complete system failure. Fortunately, we haven't had the latter two. But it goes through, is it one impact? Is it one user? Is it one client? Now, we do take all issues regarding one individual user, just as seriously as the big tickets. However, they might take a bit longer because they'll generally then get aggregated in with all of the other changes that are going on in the platform at the time.
Okay, thanks for that. And then can you share some potential upgrades to Kinesis Pay? Like, we're very excited about starting to integrate it into, like, for example, the partner promotion that you guys are starting. I can see Kinesis Pay really being used there prevalently. What are some future plans for Kinesis Pay from a technological standpoint that you guys are working on?
Yeah, look, Rano, I think Kinesis Pay is something that we're really beginning to get behind, and we have been behind it for a little while now. We're starting to just really amp it up. I think the trick with Kinesis Pay and what we're looking to do from a technology point of view is just make it easier. It needs to become a little bit easier. It needs to become more accessible. It needs to be able to be integrated into some further platforms. We've done a lot of work, particularly with WordPress and multi-site WordPress and so forth. Some of the things that we're looking at is expanding the plugins to make it available across more platforms. We're looking to add some web widgets that individual clients that may not have, they might be hosting their own and they've written their own applications. We want to be able to put that also into mobiles. And we're also working with a number of folks to say, look, how do we just get this integrated into their ecosystems, which is not kind of outside of our kind of walled garden for where it's available at the moment. And then just it's about broader global applicability.
The next series of questions are going to be about commercialization, and these will be more towards Jai. Jai, first question has to do with the virtual card program. Can you kind of tell us how things are going with it? Speak to the regions that are involved, maybe further changes that are planned, and additional features.
Yes, absolutely. So, hello everybody, and look forward to giving you a few updates. A little bit of a pulse on what's going on in the back end around product and marketing and some commercial around the card program. So, we've got some exciting stuff happening with the virtual card, and I want to sort of wrap up the card program and the EU delays as well, all within this one topic. So to kick it off, what we're really looking at with the virtual card, and given the fact that the virtual card is available in, I think, 55 plus countries, it is it's a working product that we have a lot of use on at the moment, and we are consistently signing up more and more people every week. So the target focus internally has really been to, look at how we can make that product better. Okay, so a couple of things that will be coming online in Q3 are going to be our new merchant rewards program. So we've partnered with an exemplary service. It is basically available right across the world in, I think, about 18 different countries. There are over 7,000 merchants, and these aren't sort of, small merchants. These are all major merchants. These are all like Booking.coms and Gucci or Tiffany's or Hotels.com or various travel and major retailers. Actual retailers where people are going to be shopping. Pretty much every merchant retailer that you would touch in your everyday life is likely to be a part of this program, which is super exciting because it gives people a real world, real world rewards from things that they're already doing. So if you're using Booking.com to plan your hotel stays or your bookings for holidays, then you use the Kinesis Merchant Rewards. It'll be a platform. It'll be a place where you can log in, see the merchant, and then, it'll actually be part of the KMS. So the portfolio or the platform will be in the KMS. You'll be able to go to the retailer, you'll link off, and simply just by doing it through the Kinesis platform, you'll then receive a MetalBack, what we call, which is a cashback, but it's a MetalBack because we'll be rewarding people back in gold. So if you're going and spending $100, with Booking.com or 1,000, or you'll receive a 3% to 7% sort of range on MetalBack rewards, and they do vary from merchant to merchant. Some merchants give more, some less, depending on who they are. But the point is that you'll be able to actually use this system to be able to get more than what you're getting currently by doing the same thing, which is obviously a value added benefit. So the virtual card program with merchant rewards and MetalBack becomes just a little bit more exciting. And then we're going to be bringing in some other enhancements to the card, such as fee reduction. So we have looked at the market and we've looked at, what our card is and have been playing around with various modeling. And what we want to do is we want to make the virtual card as good as it can be, practically speaking, and competitively speaking, against a market that is beyond, say, the digital asset space. So how do we make this card competitive against any card, right? Whether it is in a neobank, like a neobank provider, or an actual digital asset provider. So we're trying to make this holistically a competitive product across payment services, banking, digital currency, and precious metals, and encompass all of those target segments to provide value for anyone, any customer, any target demographic, no matter what segment that they would fall into. So a universally rewarding card that appeals to everybody is kind of what we're getting at. So I can't give you the exact details of financial modeling yet. That's under wraps until it gets released very, very shortly. It is planned in Q3 to have all of this stuff, put out there and released into the market. We're just looking at the technicalities around all of that at the moment. But we now have like a virtual card that's going to be super attractive, super usable, really rewarding. And then there's even a cashback component that will be coming into the card, but will be kind of a MetalBack component above and beyond the merchants. So where you shop with the merchant and get a MetalBack, that's sort of maybe 3 to 7% or whatever it is, then you'll also get an additional cashback on every purchase, no matter what it is, whether it's the merchant or not. So if you're not able to use it at a merchant that is on our platform, and you're just going down to your local shop, or you're paying your rent or your mortgage or whatever it is you do, a portion of those spends, and there are caps, you will earn a rebate or a MetalBack reward, which will give you a percentage back on all your spending. So the idea is to give you a card that is rewarding in many aspects. And we've really looked at the financial modeling around this card so that we can bring it, essentially make it as attractive as possible. So along with that, we have some really great marketing campaigns that are planned. Again, just we're right in the mix of a massive campaign. We're looking at multiple regions across Canada, Australia, Europe, all the places that we're able to really have a positive impact. We do have a very wide user base in Kinesis. We've got sound money advocates and real Kinesis advocates and ambassadors and followers and users in many countries, but we have real pockets of strength in places like Australia and New Zealand and Canada and UK, Europe, and obviously the US are all there. However, until we get the card program fully live in the US, then the marketing stuff is sort of a little bit on hold. However, we are absolutely working on bringing the US online, and we're making good progress there. And I can't go too much into exactly when all that's happening, but sometimes I wish I could give a little bit more. I don't want to try and be evasive, but we're making great progress, and it's not too far away, I will tell you that, if everything goes according to plan. And sometimes we're beholden to a different policy and regulatory changes that sometimes just put us a little bit on the back foot because things change, and then a program will have new parameters or will need new things. So all being constant, and the environment not drastically changing again, we are on track for US as well, and then obviously we're always looking at bringing on more and more regions. So really, just to summarize all of that, what we've looked at is making the virtual card a no-brainer for anyone to use, even outside of the Kinesis system, for it to be just such an awesome product where the barrier to entry just doesn't exist. It's something that will be very palatable and something that people will, the idea is to put it to be a product that someone will absolutely give it a go. So with the card launch, the whole package of the virtual card is to make this just be one really beautiful product that with the barriers of entry just don't exist. That it becomes a really palatable product that everyone wants to try and is rewarded for doing so. So we're really on track for getting that up and running, and Q3 is the time that we're really doing all of that. And then post Q3, heading into a major marketing launch. We've got some beautiful material, some great production that's gone on, and we're ready for a big bang. So it's looking good.
Thanks for that, Jai. Another area that's been coming up is the EU card program, and of course the users are very excited about this. Can you comment on a time frame for that, and perhaps some of the reasons it's not quite out yet?
Yeah, thanks for asking the question around the program, the EU program. That one there is interesting. It's been a lot of variance in the landscape, the regulatory landscape, throughout Europe, and internally with companies like Visa and our program provider. The EU delay, like Tom mentioned earlier, we have been ready to go with our tech on the card for quite some time, and we're sitting there in an approval bucket. The program for the EU is a physical program, and the delay is there, and quite frankly, the virtual card program stuff that I just mentioned before, we augment that program, and we, essentially are making that, a flagship product, and we're really, reducing fees and making it a much better product. It takes away the reliance on the EU physical card program. So for us and for our audience and for everyone, the EU program, even if it didn't launch, and I'm not saying it would, it won't. But the point is that we will have an augmented virtual card product that would, almost negate the necessity for a physical card now, or the physical card program. Now, the only caveat there is there won't be a physical card. However, that doesn't mean that we can't introduce a physical card in a different way. So we're just currently looking at the best way to do that. So, we're looking for programs with longevity, and, we want to make sure that the card launch through EU actually does add value to the stack. And we're currently right now just in a bit of a holding pattern because we're waiting on approvals, essentially. Now, we do see that environment favorably, like Kinesis has ticked every box that needs to be ticked, and the delays are not reflective of us as a company or the way we operate or anything like that. We're actually very well versed at compliance and the regulation, and we have done everything right. It really has come down to failure on third-party providers to actually deliver on their side. So it's sad to say it, but that's where the delays have come in. And the positive side of me, says that the programs are delays and that the card will launch. However, in the circumstance that it perhaps doesn't launch, then we're fully covered as a company by really making that virtual card just a way better program. And I know you guys are going to love it. So that kind of gives you a bit of insight into what's going on there.
Thank you, Jai. Next question has to do with a program that launched recently, which was called the telemarketing program. We've had some questions in the community about that. Can you share with us what that department does and how it fits into the overall commercialization vision?
Yeah, so thank you for asking the question around the telesales department, or formerly telemarketing. It was announced in the quarterly update. Obviously, we do monitor chatter around that, and I know a few people were sort of a little bit confused on what telemarketing was, or telesales or telemarketing function was, and why it's important. I just wanted to add a little bit of context there. This is something that is an initiative that was driven by myself and the wider operations team to bring on a telesales function for first contact customers. So we're quite the way through it now, and it's actually been a huge success because we've got KYC, we've got Kinesis is such a large offering, and we've got clients from all over the world, and with regulatory compliance requirements. Requirements sort of differ, and there are a lot of nuances when that come into play when onboarding new customers. So it really made sense for us as a company to look at creating less friction and bringing and hand holding and having somebody actually call you up and say, hey, what is the issue with the KYC, and can I help you with your documentation, and do you have more questions about Kinesis, and how can we help you? And I have to say the response has been overwhelming. We've now had hundreds and hundreds of clients come through that would sort of just otherwise perhaps wouldn't have, because they just needed some basic things, and a little bit of hand holding, a little bit of love, to help bring them over the line and to give them a little bit of assistance. And so the effects of the actual telesales team have been enormous, and actually it all plays into that whole onboarding journey, and then really starting that support and starting that customer contact very, very early, like immediately, so that then they can flow through from there and into the AEs, and then have like a sticky relationship all the way through, feel supported and feel like there is somebody, because there is somebody on the other end that has their interests at heart, and can track and monitor and work with them as a client. At the end of the day, I assist people with holding their precious metals, their digital currencies. People have questions, and this was just a critical thing. We're building out more materials. We're able to analyze the onboarding journey. We're able to get direct feedback from clients. We also understand where people might be having issues. We're able to flag issues easier and communicate that down the line through the departments. So all in all, I just wanted to provide some context there, because it's been quite a successful thing it's really impacted a lot of people in a very, very positive way. So yeah, that's around the telesales department and the rationale behind that.
Thanks for that, Jai. Another thing I'm very excited about is the partner program. I'm actually enrolling one of my companies in this, and a meeting with the team this week. And so can you tell us a little bit more about the vision for this program, where you guys see this going, specifically the 3 target groups that you are going after with this, and just give us some more details. Thank you.
Great. So partner program, another amazing initiative. It's just coming out of beta at the moment. So you will notice that the yield pool will change. It'll be augmented to include more of the percentage out to partners. There was an absolute need to bring on a real core segment, a core amount of yield that was accessible to partners, because the partners are essentially business referrers, right? They are a group of people that have network or have businesses or have commercial deals. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to treat them like true partners. And a true partner is somebody that is growing our business. And so they should be really like growing our business significantly by bringing on people utilizing their name, their brand, their business. So with that said, the partner program was a necessity in order to really work hand in hand with these partners. And we've got an incredible team now. Got a couple of great partner program managers that really just focus on weekly calls with partners. They handhold. They've got a crazy amount of cool resources and documentation. There is its own dedicated partner platform login where people, the partners can see their revenue. They can see how many people are coming through. They've got their own dashboard to see all the stats, right? Clicks, signups, revenue, trading, all data that is going to allow them to see that this now becomes a business, an affiliate referral partner business. So it's opened up the floodgates for us to start talking to a lot of influencer personalities, a lot of online personalities that share the same views and opinions that we do, same philosophies. There are so many out there. So it's just one of those things that now the tech is built. We've already got amazing deals and partnerships that are currently working, and these are larger kind of deals. So the minimum requirement for a partner is $100,000 in volume per day, 3 million a month, and then it goes from 3 million to 30 and onwards and upwards there. So they're the type of numbers we're talking about here. and the idea is to work with volume drivers. And if you're a volume driver, then there is no better program than the Kinesis Partner Program. With the Pro platform, when it comes online in Q3, along with our precious metals offering, digital gold and sound money, along with all of the utility of sending, spending, trading that Kinesis brings to the table, there are a lot of excited partners out there that just can't wait. So we've got a few of them on board now. And look, if you're in the precious metals industry, you can take your current business. If you've got an audience in precious metals, you can take your current audience, do nothing different, give them the best way to buy, hold, store, send, and receive a yield on gold that exists on planet Earth, and you can earn really, really great money from doing that. And that reward comes from not overcharging a premium product for a client, but comes from sharing our standard execution fees from that fee pool that goes to partners. And it literally works out that we give, at the top tier, Kinesis gives half of its profit in its pool of the partner yield of our section of the fee pool. Half of it will go to a partner. So it's like a 50-50 relationship, which is massive. I don't see any other companies doing this type of thing. So with that said, our partner program is one of the most powerful affiliate models I've ever seen. And if you're a crypto enthusiast, when Pro comes out and you've got an influencer network and you're using other affiliate programs to earn, then get onto Kinesis. If you're a precious metals person who's affiliate or using affiliates with other bullion deals, get onto Kinesis, or recommend your bullion dealer to come on as well, and we'll get them on. Right? Everybody can benefit from this, and without it being or interrupting your business in any way. Because at the end of the day, we're just talking about owning precious metals in the best way you can. And if you're in payment services, sending and remittance, get onto our program, because if you're doing volume of sending money, then a 0.45% sending fee, international transaction that can settle in 3 seconds and is spendable on the other end, is a hugely powerful tool. So we've got networks everywhere at the moment, and all of these sort of partnerships are building and budding off the back of this. And it's fully managed. It's fully we've got marketing materials and collateral and all sorts of things in the partner program portal. And it's just, it's really going to be something that it's going to be one of the most powerful sort of marketing type things that we've ever done. And I've got a lot of high hopes for it, and it's already kicking off with much success. So that's the partner program. You can access the partner program from the website, and you can read more about it. We got videos and calculators and all sorts of great stuff, and more information. Then should you put in an application for the partner program, it would go to our partner team. We would have a chat to you, and it's always very flexible. Everyone's different. You may have a network, you may not. You might want to become an introducing partner, and we've got that covered too. You might want to say, hey, I want to go out there and I want to bring on my city with POS terminals for Kinesis Pay. Great, let's work together. So we're very flexible, we're very open, and we're working with some interesting partnerships now that you would just never even think of them. Just like they come out from everywhere. So any angle, whatever partner program caters to you, and I encourage everybody that thinks that they could qualify to really go and have a good look at that, because if you run the numbers and you look at who you're working with, it becomes a really, really tasty opportunity.
Okay, Jai, thank you for that. Anything else on the commercialization end that you'd like to add for us? Perhaps comment on the app, KMS, other programs that you see in the short term coming out.
Yes, I do. I do want to comment on a couple of other things, namely the platform updates and mobile app. There's a lot of so the Kinesis main desktop application has gone through a complete redesign. I was looking at it yesterday. It's been fully signed off. and it looks amazing. It's been a little while since we've been able to come back. Lots of different development projects and things going on with our product development and design teams. We've got an incredible UI UX team. We've got great product managers, product designers, great tech team, great project management delivery teams. They're all really busy. With this new desktop platform, it is really going to bring the KMS up to a state that is world class. It is in a format and a structure that is what people are used to seeing. It's been built in mind to be fully mobile first, meaning that you've got an application like the app, but if you for some reason can't get access to your app, like with the Apple situation, with the kind of untenable nature of having Apple shut you down because of various reasons, and this is happening throughout the crypto industry and has happened before in the finance, in the the trading spaces. Then you're dependent on this app, and if you don't have a great mobile first platform, then people don't have access. So that's what we looked at. How do we de-risk ourselves and not become dependent on just an app store? So we went ahead and built this mobile first version of the desktop platform, and it's fully responsive while still maintaining all the cool new design functionality of the app. So that, I'm pleased to say, is in process now, and it won't be too long before that's happening, and you start to see a new framework, a new KMS, and it's going to have all of that modern look and feel, and lots of great functionality in there, and all of our reward centers will be brought into there, and you'll be able to be rewarded and see achievements and great onboarding experience, and primarily an exceptional mobile experience. So I would say that people will probably start to favor being on browser on mobile phone rather than app. And we don't want that to be the case, but we have to deliver a product that can work for everyone anywhere, no matter what, and universal, and that's what that's been about. So really excited to mention that. Also, we've been working across mobile app as well, because you may have noticed the app went through lots of changes right over the last year. It had a little bit added, then we had some new features, then the colors were changing and it looked a little bit clunky at stages, and then it got better. And the reason for this, and I just wanted to provide some context, is that we had an app, we want to upgrade an app, and then we want to bring on a whole bunch of features. So rather than sort of build this app on the side, what we done was we kept the app going and we added core components of the new design, overlaid that, and then kind of added it until we ended up with the new app. And now what's happening is that is all coming to an end, and you'll start to see all the features and functionalities that were originally conceived back when we first started the app stuff come to life very, very shortly. They're kind of at the end of their cycles. There's a few more to go, but within Q3 you'll probably see the app itself will be this lovely completed product. And then from there we start to bring on new features, like things like yields will be coming in, and we've got about 6 other really cool features that have never existed before that will come online for the app, which will bring the app again, I mentioned, to a standard that is world class. It needs to hit a standard that anyone would expect from any really, really good fintech style app, and that's what we really are driving to. So all these sort of like iterative changes have come so that we can release functionality and not let it build up and break and evolve it. And by doing that, it's just been a little bit of a period of sort of layering things and until we get the final product, rather than having a final product built and just releasing it. So that's the route we chose for various technical reasons, and so it will come to a head, and will start to look really nice very, very, very shortly. And then finally, 'cause I've got lots of little things in my little bag, but a couple of other things. Well, one other thing I think I'll close up here because I don't want to take too much airtime would be our marketing programs. We have an incredible marketing team. I have to say, take my hat off to everyone. We're quite a large team these days, and we cover front-end development and product development and design, UI, UX, and website and operations and content, and there's lots of things going on all the time. Kinesis has really gone from strength to strength. However, we've taken it to the next level and we've really devised out a new brand strategy. So we've really looked at, and we've been working with some really amazing, very, very, bright, creative individuals that are based all around the world that specialize in really taking someone like us, taking Kinesis to the next level, and helping to really help us to break our organization down, right down, boil it up into core truths, into who we are. It's like getting to know yourself. So the company and the brand has an identity and has a philosophy and has truths and has really core focused target segments and messaging. So with all that said, we also have an incredible video production team, and we do some pretty fun and creative marketing things. So we are bringing back a certain character that we did do initially in Kinesis a few years ago and really tested. I won't say too much, but the production has been shot and the branding has been done and the strategies have been built. And now what we're in the process of doing is aligning a few product goals along with the virtual card stuff I spoke about and sealing up the end-to-end product along with Pro and all of that sort of jazz, bringing it into a nice tidy product before release. And then we've got an incredible amount of work going on in the background to drop that out into the world in a really, really major way. It's exciting, it's engaging, it's unique, and it really positions Kinesis and its core truths and its real brand identity and gets it out there to all the people that need to hear it. So really, really excited to do this, and it's going to be something that makes a real ripple, a real impact, and everybody will feel it. It will be something that you hear and see and feel everywhere. And that's the intention. So the time is very near where, we sort of shout from the rooftops, here we are. So we've always been leading to that. Finally we feel that we're very, very close to being able to launch that. So again, this quarter is critical. However, we are working towards that end of quarter launch for the marketing. And we should hit near there or thereabouts. And so exciting times ahead. Lots of work going on. Many feet paddling like ducks, but it's getting there. So really, really positive. And the enthusiasm and energy and passion, within the teams, and particularly within my teams, it hasn't dwindled. It's gone from strength to strength. So we've got more energy than ever. Even if I don't look like it now because I've been up all night with the new bub, but we're fired up and we're all very, very excited. So that's all I really wanted to say on that, on extra updates.
All right, thank you for that, Jai. Daniel, I know you have a question about Pro. Let's roll on with that.
All right. Well, I'm excited to ask this next question. Earlier this year, we heard about Kinesis Pro coming out. As a Bitcoin lover and cryptocurrency advocate, I was really excited to hear about what Kinesis Pro was going to do and when it was going to come out. It's been delayed a little bit, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more about Kinesis Pro, maybe some history of why it was delayed, because I think I and a lot of people out there are excited about it.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for that, Daniel. So yeah, there's a little bit of a history with Kinesis Pro. Obviously, it's been there as a project for a couple of years now. Now, initially, we were rolling it out actually in short order with another player in the market, So in partnership with another player in the market, and we were just about to launch it actually, and then the player in the market, they exited the market for various different reasons. So that put us back to ground zero there, and so we had to then embark on, okay, do we build this in-house from scratch ourselves, or do we find another technology partner to assist with this? Anyway, at the time, whether it was the right decision or wrong decision, we did decide to go with an established technology player to assist us. Now, there was a build on our side and a build on their side sort of a build on their side. They had a platform that needed to be tailored to what we wanted it to do. And then we, had a build on our side as far as the integration into our whole sort of ecosystem with users and the CRM systems and the UI and all that kind of stuff, which is actually, no small feat, and the wallet systems as well. So, yes, the tech is done at this point. It's done. There's obviously there's integrations which needed to happen with different market makers. Now we brought on different market makers, and then some API connections were broken and things like that, which also delayed things. And that was with an update of the technology from our tech platform supplier in the space. And in addition to that, we've been there's an integration that is with our own market making tech and that sort of thing. Now, earlier on, we've spoken about the introduction of new products and that sort of thing, which we've developed in partnership with other, close partners of ours, and they've had to be included. So actually, like the prerequisites, they changed. So we don't want to launch Kinesis Pro before we get these other products live. Now these other products, they're close because these other products are going to be very much so entwined within our ecosystem. And, for us to go out and launch this with basically products that will be competing with the other products that we launch, seems a bit counterintuitive to me. So basically the sequence of the launch has been such that we need to get these other products that we're working on actually live. We're close. And then Kinesis Pro goes live. Everything is converging for Q3. So launch of Kinesis Pro in Q3. Jason, do you have anything further to add there, like any sort of granular?
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks, Daniel, for the question. I think one of the things that's been really interesting, if you think about, it's no mean feat to stand up a pro platform or an exchange, from a ground start. If you look at what we wanted to do with Pro, I think one of the big pieces technically, outside of all the market making and the pairs and the products, was how do we share the wallets? Because traditionally crypto wallets don't like having multiple people all look at the same wallet. So we had to come up and spend, quite an investment in time in how do we get the balances shared. So if you go to if you've got open orders and trading on the KMS and you wanted to go to the Pro platform and take advantage of, some of the other products, how do you do that? So we had to invest quite a lot of time in how do you actually allow your Kinesis holdings to be used in both exchanges simultaneously across what could be the same wallet effectively in the same account underneath in the system. So that's one thing that we really had to overcome. And I think we've done that, just incredibly well. The additional products and the market making, if you think about how that's done, and that means we've had to have effectively, the same market maker. We've had to be really mindful about the way that we apply spreads and the way that we actually manage the liquidity. And then I think there's the third thing that we've really had to focus on is, with the additional pairs coming in, there's also additional trade types. So if you look at the demands or the needs of a pro trader, they need different trade types there. And what the pro platform provides is access to some broader, more professionally targeted trade types and execution types over the standard bid and ask, leave an order in the market until it kind of, you choose to expire it. We've got some new order types coming through as part of the pro platform as well that we've had to really get to understand. There's a bit of a learning curve for the organisation to understand how to use those particular trade types as well. So they're the three major things that we've kind of had to really overcome. And I think we're in a really good place.
Excellent. Could I ask a follow up on the Kinesis Pro platform? I know that the KMS is going to keep around the same exact pairs that they have now. The new pairs on Pro. Is there a parameters you're looking for? Could it be like any other exchange that's international that can take on any pairing of a new coin or ICO that's being launched? Do you know what your parameters might be?
Do you want me to take that first? So just quickly, we and this was in a quarterly report. We do have plans to enter, call it the initial exchange offering space and actually, help provide incubation and acceleration services to startups or established businesses to list them, right? And to support them, to overlay a corporate governance framework, to potentially, plug in tech services, plug in, finance services, operational services, and that sort of thing to give them all the tools of success going forward. That is something that we have been planning. We've got a partner there who, they wanted to do it with us quite a long time ago. They're a market maker. They bring, basically new businesses to market via, token issuance and that sort of thing. They're one of the major players, really. So yes, that whole thing, we are pushing into that space. Is that answering your question there? And Jason, do you want to add anything further?
Yeah, look, Daniel, I think when I wish it was that easy that you could just go and pick up any token and, it's all magic. Unfortunately, it's not. There's a couple of things that extend into that. From a Kinesis point of view, we take our regulatory requirements super seriously. And just because someone's got some new token, it doesn't mean that we've going to have the intention to automatically just pick it up, because there are regulatory requirements that we need to meet. There's a certain number of compliance hurdles that we need to overcome. And so we need to make sure that the tokens that we choose are the ones that have all the backing, they have all the understanding. As Tom said, look, we do want to work with a number of folk that are providing new tokens, because the second part to that is, can they provide efficient market making up on top of that? Can they provide the liquidity that we need, particularly for that market? I think Pro will lend itself to expediting that process, but it's not going to effectively be, hey, can I have, Pixie coins listed? And that would be great, because I just don't think that's going to happen. But we need to just take everything into consideration, along with every other request we get for, hey, can we put this token onto your exchange? You go, yeah, that would be ace. All right. If we just said that all day, we'd have, teams and teams of people just mucking around with tokens. But unfortunately, and then underneath that, the thing that we need to really focus on is, there's an evolution in the underlying blockchains, particularly as all the blockchains are maturing, they're going to the next version. We've got to make sure that we're able to fully technically support, all of the blockchains. We don't take, some of the very, very bespoke ones, because they're harder. We have some very good technology providers underneath that manage our wallets, manage our custodian, our sharded key pairs, and all of that sort of stuff. And we've got to make sure that whatever token we choose is well supported within that ecosystem.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great answer. And I thought it was funny when you said we're not going to take Pixie coin. Tom instantly went, no. that was a great response.
All right. Thank you for that. Moving on to some questions about the Bailee Company now. This has been an enhancement long time coming. And so a few questions on that for Dave, who is, of course, in the legal area. First, Dave, can you tell us a little bit more about the Bailee Company rollout, the implications of what's taken so long to do so, and a time frame?
Hi, Reno. Thanks for that. Good to be here. So the Bailee arrangement is alive and well, specifically in relation to the Bailee Company. That was incepted to provide further surety to the community and our users insofar as adding a corporate layer solely dedicated to the bailment structure rather than it being intermingled, if you like, with our original structure. So the actual concept of bailment is untouched, and we've actually galvanized that through 2 opinions of King's Counsel because the space, whilst it's it's an old area of law, so we needed to modernize our instructions to ensure that we weren't missing anything there. So back to the actual company, that is incorporated, and we're working through with the vaults and the exchange entity to make that, to give that life, if you will. But important to stress, the actual bailment structure is live. We're merely rolling out the connection to the new entity. And in terms of time frame, we expect that to be complete over the next 3 months. There are a few parties that need to accede to the new structure and the new entity, including our vaulting partners. But that's underway, and that should be complete by September this year.
Great. Thank you for that, Dave. A follow up on that. How do you foresee the Kinesis terms of service getting adjusted and a time frame for rolling those out for people to be able to review them?
Yeah, sure, Reno. So the terms of service don't particularly talk to, not in any depth, the Bailee legal structure. So that service offering in terms of the use and security that bailment offers will remain intact. And I referred back to the last answer I provided in that the actual mechanism is alive and well. We're just improving it. So we could certainly add to the terms and make it clearer, perhaps, of the delineation once the Bailee Co is fully operational and live in terms of the adherence to the new entity, as I mentioned in the previous entity. But in terms of the service offering and the day-to-day nature of transactions, there'll be no change to that. But I think implicit in your question is perhaps we could do more to articulate the structure to give clarity to the community and the users. So look, I'll take that on notice and see what we can pop in there. If it's not really at home in the terms themselves, we might be able to produce another document that speaks to what I think you're getting at there, Reno.
Great. Thank you for that, Dave. A follow-up question on NDAs and fiduciary responsibility. Can you expand a little bit more on the sharing or not sharing of information publicly by Kinesis and what the strategy is behind that?
Yeah, sure, Reno. So we're no different from any company in this respect, that obviously we have proprietary concepts and IP and know-how and strategy that is a product of the resources that we've inputted to the company over many years, including its predecessor entities. And we have a duty to the board and the shareholders to ensure that we act in the best interests of the company in that space by essentially maximizing what we do with that IP in broad terms. So in that respect, we're no different from any other company in terms of that duty. I think what Tom was getting at was in this space, there is a lot of desire for more information on plans, on future partnerships, on status in detail of exciting ventures. And it's sort of a catch-22 because we applaud and encourage that interest and support, if you will, of the endeavors. But of course, you can't shoot yourself in the foot insofar as updating the entire world on every step, because that's not going to yield the output that we require or the community wants anyway. So, look, the simple answer is we're no different from any other company in respects of the corporate duties that we have to the shareholders and the board. Having said that, we do what we can to update, and this forum is tantamount to that. We do what we can to let everyone know of new initiatives, where we're at with those already announced and what's coming down the pipe. It's just the nuance and the mechanics that sometimes we just simply, the questions are a little too under the hood. But we hope that we give enough detail so that we answer folks' questions and crack on with those endeavors. In terms of NDAs, well, that is a slightly different legal creature in that we enter contracts like every other company in the world does with third parties to advance collaborations and to outsource certain services by way of two examples. And those NDAs provide obligations to the parties in respect of what can be shared in relation to information that's exchanged pursuant to those objectives. So we just simply follow those. And Tom's reference there, I assume to be in this space, is we can't breach those. So to the extent that there's questions in relation to partnerships, for instance, that are governed by NDA, we just, there's sort of obstruction in that respect. For good reason, by the way, and some of those issues pertaining to confidentiality in the first answer I provided on this topic pertaining to us and the third parties apply in equal measure. So look, quite simply, we think we do a pretty good job of going. We think we provide more info than most other companies and certainly most others in this space. But to the extent there is some information we can't provide, it's not us being obstructive or evasive. It's just simply complying with our duties and obligations as they exist at any given point in time.
Excellent. Thanks for that. We appreciate all of those details.
Guys, we just want to say thank you for the meeting today, and very informative, and just sharing a variety of different areas that Kinesis is where you're at. Today's episode will be completed. There's a couple more team members that will add comment. So sometime next week it will probably be out. The episode can be viewed either through the Kinesis Money YouTube channel or C4SM. We do have a follow-up Vaultside plan for September the 12th so that we can have a schedule once a quarter. And again, just thank you again for your time. It's been very informative, and we look forward to the next one.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks to the C4SM guys. Thank you.